Right, we've dealt with other issues concerning Building 7. Now we come on to contradictions. Unfortunately, there are people out there that take the contradictions and they find witnesses, true witnesses, that then they say are false witnesses. And then they go on to make a fanciful story, having dismissed the true witnesses. These persons cannot tell the difference between truth and error. True witnesses, false witnesses. In this event, there were true witnesses, false witnesses. And it appears from what I've seen that it is not the common man in this situation that is the false witness. Yes, we have them in the hoaxes that have followed it. Okay? We found that. Crisis actors brought in, obvious crisis actors. But if we cannot tell the difference between a crisis actor acting the part and a real, genuine witness, then we need to look to ourselves. Now, Building 7 and the time of evacuation. It appears, from what I've read, that Building 7 was not, and I repeat, was not evacuated. It is only said to be evacuated. How do we come to this? How do we come to this conclusion? Well, the amount of times that are stated of the evacuation clearly shows by common sense no bugger was there to witness it, to give a specific time. We have, for instance, a Michael Hess who said the building was emptied, okay, roughly at 9:15. And then 9:30. We have others saying that the building was emptied at 11:30 a.m. That comes from Peter Hayden, the chief fire officer, who was supposed to be on site at the time. Alright. Now then. Also, we have later times, about 1:30, it was all cleared. And yet, when Michael Hess, okay, went into the building, he found the doors locked. Now this is the, what do you call it? This building housed the security services. And he found the doors locked. Found nobody in. Everybody had gone. And then he says he heard bits off the building opposite, off one of the towers, coming into this building. So hang on a minute. If that's so, then how was it that the staff of that building had evacuated before the other building had hit? Or did they evacuate when the other building was hit and the pieces eventually flew off? But that doesn't work, does it? Because bits didn't fall. If you think about it, the so-called planes hit the buildings, right? So the buildings would have shot off bits and pieces all over the place at that specific time. So therefore the persons that were supposed to be in Building 7 couldn't have been in Building 7. Because as Peter Hess is standing in Michael Hess is standing in building 7, bits are coming off the other building. And it couldn't have been when it were collapsing. Could it? Because it's too early in the day. It's the morning. The buildings have only just been hit. So where were all the staff? They weren't there. Why weren't they there? Well, presumably because they were told not to turn up that day, that they would be needed on the streets to keep people quiet as to what happened. That's why they weren't there. Michael Hess also says that when the bits and pieces and debris shot through the building, the sprinkler system immediately came on. Oh, right, yeah, of course it did, Mr. Hess. Without any fires? Bits are coming through the windows. The building hasn't caught light yet. It's afterwards that it catches light. Not as the bits are going through the pigging windows, as he's claiming they're going through the windows, okay? And the sprinkler systems go off. Well, how strange is that, Mr. Hess? Because the Chief Fire Officer, Peter Hayden, doesn't testify to the sprinkler system going off. Secondly, my boy, you say the sprinkler system went off at this particular time, okay, of the morning, around 9:45, 9:50. So it had all day to put out the fires. The fires would have been put out. Bumbling idiots. And of course he came out of the building and somebody shouting at him to come on over, and he's not wet. Nobody shouts out, we don't see the picture on him, but nobody shouts out, why are you wet? How about US Special Customs Agent Joe Weber? Okay? He claimed to be in Building 6 holding a meeting at 8:45 in the morning. Okay? US Special Customs Agent Joe Weber holding a staff meeting at 8:45 in the morning when the first jet hit the North Tower. Well, and then he says he goes over to Building 7 with the staff, because that was the command centre for any thing like this going off, and he finds it locked. Now the problem is here is, okay, he said it, but is it true? No. How could he be holding a staff meeting in Building 6 when Building 6 itself had all the gubbins taken out? It was gutted. It wasn't gutted by fire. The central interior, the body of the building had been taken out. So when parts of the building were removed by the blast, you could see it had been taken out. There's no interior walls. There was no pigging desks. Well, there can't be any desks. There's no interior walls. They've taken the interior walls out, and the basic structure inside made it a hollow. So he couldn't have been in Building 6. See the disinformation all the time? And of course the Chief Fire Officer, Peter Hayden, okay, said to Larry Silverman, oh, this building must be pulled. No, he didn't. As we said before, it's not his job to do that. He wouldn't have done that at all. It wouldn't have even come into his mind. Because officers are there to put out fires of buildings, to save buildings. There's a pigging building burning away there. They're not going to walk off because there's no bugger in it. They always try to put out the building, to save the building. Just come back in a second.